You're listening to Catch These Two Cents with Staffy, a vlog that talks about who we truly are, even if sometimes we're forbid to accept, heal, and get to know. My name is Stafford Barrett, and I'll be talking about the things that we don't like to talk about, the things that truly affects us in this world, and we seem to don't know why, or we overlooked why. Because it makes no sense when you think this thing through. How so much man can't see what is really true? We're gonna get real, we're getting candid, and we're gonna pull the mask of everyone who hides behind their fear or truth. Maybe sharing our story can help someone on their journey.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catch These Two Cents. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Stafford Barrett, and let's get into it. Today's episode, we are talking about how are you coping with COVID? How are you coping during this pandemic? And what are some of the techniques that you are using? Let's talk about it. Let's get real. First, how are you coping with COVID? What are some of the techniques you are using? Let's talk about them. Let's share them. Let's get someone on board to self-love on the journey of self-healing and self-discovery. Because on today's episode, on this platform, we are getting everyone consciously unbiased, okay? Some techniques that I use currently is music. I'm currently going through a stage where I find myself in an awakening. I find myself, my natural self, want to change and yearning for change. In my current state of mind, in this reality that I'm living in and we're all living in, sometimes you're not ready to change. Ask, what are the techniques you're using? Because it's important how you talk to self. How are you talking to yourself? What are the things that you are saying to yourself? Are you insecure about talking to yourself? The society stigma portrayed so much onto you that it brought up those emotions of fear, of insecurity, where you can't bring yourself to the point where you do the things, the real things, the things that CIA agents, that politicians use, that businessmen, millionaires use to make themselves stay on a path so they can continue a path of success. And this all intertwined with self-love, with self-discovery, with self-awakening, with, just discovering and acknowledging and accepting oneself for who we are. How are you talking to yourself? Are you afraid to talk to yourself? I struggle on that journey, so I feel like it's important for me to talk about it today. And that's the whole idea of this episode. How are you coping during this pandemic? How are you coping during COVID? Because in order to cope during this pandemic, in order to cope by living outside of an abnormal reality, is by also being awakening, being so intertwined with not just reality and illusion, but also your subconscious. Your subconscious is a very, very big role in how you think, okay? You might not change the first thought that came to your mind, but you can change the second thought that came to your mind because you're talking to yourself. I get up every morning and I have affirmations that I live by, and I speak to myself and I look in the mirror. I'm not afraid to look, just like I'm looking you in this camera right now, and say to you that I am enough. Sometimes when I say that I'm enough, it's like I feel the enough. Let me tell you this. Currently, I have about $2 in my account. I'm not afraid to say that. You know why I'm saying that? Because a year from now, I will tell you how much. I'll actually show you how much I have in my account. How about that? Now that is a deal. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to set public goals for yourself. Because guess what? You see, once you put those goals out there, that's why we have vision boards and then people tell you to write your goals down. Because once you put those goals out there, you have no other choice than to go for them. Because guess what? Naturally, we don't want to look stupid. We don't want to seem embarrassed. We don't want to look like that person who is not trying to be their best version of themselves. So that way, by putting these goals and these accomplishments that you're trying to attain out into the universe, say them out. I want to be rich. I am going to be rich. I'm not afraid to say it. Screw my neighbors if they want to hear that shit. Screw anybody who if they want to hear my shit and think that, you know what? It sound crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm hungry. I'm focused. I know what I want. I believe in what I want. I believe in all those millions. I believe in creating wealth and sharing how I'm going to create wealth and putting it out there so you, who is someone like me, broke, struggling, have a job, yes, very intelligent, very educated. But guess what? In reality, black people does not have the same equalness and fairness. Let's take for instance how all of these small organizations, small businesses are trying to get the free money that the government offer them. And they can't get it. They can't get it because guess what? They know how you think. They know that you as a small business individual, you're not going to keep every single document. You're not going to follow regulation to the T. It's not that you're not capable of, but they know the challenges that you face, that you're not able to do these jobs completely. So they create loopholes for you not to get that money. And if you indeed get that money, you have to pay it back. It won't be the forgivable loan. And the bigger corporations who just sat on their ass and just live lavishly, who actually know how Congress think, how Congress operates. So Congress can't play games with them. They are the one with the corporate control. Okay, so it's when it comes to the Department of Treasury, corporation run that. I'm a broke individual. I'm a struggling individual. And I was never eligible for the $1,200 only because my boyfriend, he claimed me on his taxes. And by claiming on his taxes because last year I worked half of the year and on document I was not able. And in reality also, I'm not afraid to say it, I wasn't able to financially support myself for the entire year of 2019. So I was legally eligible for my boyfriend to claim me, right? And he claimed me, and Congress said, you know what? Because he claimed you, you're not eligible for the $1,200. And just like that, I, as an individual who was struggling, I was not eligible. But they weren't afraid to give $50 billion to the aviation industry, the airline industry. And they did what with it? They furlough employees. And they buy 50% of their stocks back after the market crash. But let's get back on track. Stuff like that happen. It's reality. And let me tell you, when I found out, because I had plans for that money, like actual sustainable plans for that money, and I guess that's where the proverb from Jamaica comes into play. Man a plan and God a wipe. We're planning, but God is wiping. Everyone who had plans for this year, God wiped that right out. God equal nature, equal things that we can't control, equal the universe. He's speaking to us. Are you listening? Are you talking to yourself? Are you coping? For the ones who don't even acknowledge that you are spiritual beings and you're ruled by your spiritual aura, do you even take time to know yourself? Like on the first video, I'm doing these videos consistently with strategic intention of speaking about these stuff. Do you know yourself? So when you understand yourself, you know that, listen, I'm an individual. I'm gonna use myself right now for an example. I am an individual not afraid to love my friends. I won't be sexually intimate with my friends, but I won't be afraid to love my friend. I will not. I choose not to not have a relationship or a friendship where I'm expressing love. Love is everything. When you have love, you attract wealth. You attract beautiful people. You see the greatness in yourself. When you have love, self-love, find things, share things that makes you, and that makes you your full you. I will be sharing a few of the techniques I use down below in my description, and you can, if there's links available, I will send them. Another way I cope, to be honest, as a gay black Jamaican man coming from the Caribbean with the stigma put on to every single individual, including myself, because at one point I hated myself. At this point, at 26 years old, in my life, I recognized that like a couple of years ago, and it's taken me time to love myself. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm loving myself. I have so much love in me. Everybody come around me love me because I love them. And to be honest, I've never really loved myself. So I'm loving me, taking care of me. I'm doing things that I need to do for me. And one of the things that I discovered since being here in the States is self-care. I practice a self-care routine. You can go on my Instagram and you can check out my self-care products. They are called XQ Skin. XQ stands for execution. YCDA, you can do anything. And once you execute that, you will see all of everything that you are working hard in achieving. So please guys, these are old samples. I've been testing them for over a year, but please, whenever you have time, go check it out. Use some of the products. They're luxury products. They're for any and every type of skin, but especially I made sure they're for my people. I have to walk with my truth first. My truth is I'm a gay black man. I say gay first because there's still barriers to cross. There's still glass ceilings to shatter. And I'm hoping I can be one of those individuals to shatter some of those glass ceilings. And I'm not afraid to tell you guys, like and share this inspiration that I'm giving. Like and share it to your friends. Send it to your friend. Like and share my video. Like and share my products. Because guess what? When I am rich, the same individuals that supported me, I will be supported. I will be championed. If you follow me on Instagram at Staffy_SupremeXYQ, you'll see every post that I make, it's all about positivity. I have my moments where I engage in the foolishry, in the pop culture, but I don't follow lost souls. I don't entertain lost souls because those souls will get you lost. Every single individual I follow, I get some type of inspiration from them. And there's individuals that I follow and I put them on mute because it's important to exercise the tools that are given to you on social media, because social media can be one of those dark, toxic places. Do you practice social hiatus? What are you doing with yourself? Ask yourself these questions. And I hope that you guys listen to me and get inspired, because trust me, sitting here talking to you guys, I'm inspired and I have no one in front of me beside me. I'm a one-man show. I'm a one-man thing. I'm doing this all on my own. I talked to my mother earlier today and she reminded me again, it's not that I don't love you, but in my own words, she struggled because of the stigma that is put onto her. She don't hate me because I'm gay, but she struggled just like every other Caribbean mother that deals with the stigma that is portrayed onto gay individuals in the Caribbean. I hope that one day she probably can have the heart and the courage enough to sit with me on here on this couch, and we can talk and we can show you guys real truth, real black Caribbean truth. Not living in black and white, not living in gray and white, but living in technicolor, living your truth, loving yourself no matter how deep those scars might be, no matter how ugly the reality might be. Love yourself. What we always say, love your blood clot self.